Hi friends, hello, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello. So today's, you can see I've changed up my background. I've been in quarantine too long. I've decided now that I absolutely hate how my office is set up and I'm redoing the entire thing. So if you see stuff on the floor over there, I'm throwing it away. If you see stuff behind me that's different, I'm changing things up. So that's why we're all the way over here today, and I think this is how it's gonna stay, but I think we're gonna fix the desk. It's gonna be a process, but I think it's gonna look really good in the end. So while we're in this process, I hope you don't mind. Hi, how are you guys? Today's video, I thought it would be fun to do a Yass or pass. These are some of my favorite videos to do. I absolutely love them. I haven't done one in a little while, but I just thought it'd be fun to chat about makeup. I hope everyone's doing okay. It feels a little bit weird from a creator standpoint to kind of not address everything that's going on in every video, but I'm really trying not to because I know you guys like don't want that. Like, I know you guys want some positivity and some things that are different. So I hope everybody's doing okay. And let's just talk about some makeup that we're probably not gonna buy. I think I wanna do kind of a whole video on how to not buy when you're bored because I'm struggling. I don't know if you noticed this shirt, it's new. I have a set, I now have a jumpsuit. This is a shirt and then I have some pants that match this and I need to stop buying things because I'm bored at home and I'm just buying too much crap and I need to stop, okay? So I might do a whole video on that, but I think this is a good start of makeup. Like, are we buying it? Are we not buying it? Are we over it? Are we loving it? Like, let's just see. I think what we're gonna do is look through trend moods, see some new makeup that's come out and just kind of see how I feel about it. Let me know how you guys feel about it and let's just talk about something that's not quarantining. First thing I want to talk about is the ColourPop Making Mauves collection. I'm gonna try to like scooch over so I can put the picture here. The ColourPop Making Mauves collection. Okay, full transparency, I was already sent this. I really like it. I've used all of it and I love it, like a lot. This is a beautiful collection from the blushes to the lip glosses to the palette. This is stunning. However, as much as I really like it, and I'll probably get a lot of use out of it because I love this color story, like the light purples and the more cool tone purples I think is really pretty. I don't find this to be particularly unique. I also have noticed that those shimmers that are in there aren't those ColourPop shimmers that I go crazy over, like the one in the Mulan palette. These are kind of more just basic standard shimmers and they're pretty, like they look cute, but it's not mind-blowing to wear. They're not mind-blowing amazing shimmers. And the mattes, you know, they blend okay. I think like with most ColourPop 9 pans, I at least think they're a little bit more versatile, and I will say I don't know if this one is incredibly versatile. It's definitely kind of a one-trick pony on the different looks you can do. If I were to suggest one thing to buy from this collection, it would honestly be the blushes. But again, they're not super unique colors, so you probably don't need them. But I will say the blush formula is beautiful. I've been wearing them a ton. I think they're so, so pretty. They have a really, really nice matte finish to them that I really like. And I also really like the Luxe glosses. I've talked about that I think before, but I really enjoy the Luxe glosses. I tried that formula before and I think it's really nice. I like that these shades are a little bit deeper of a purple. I think that's kind of fun. And the Super Shock shadows are nice and everything, but I'm not obsessed. You know what I mean? Like I like it a lot and I'll get use out of it, but I don't think this is like a necessity from ColourPop, you know? I think, who was it that brought this point up? I think it was Abby brought up a really interesting point of, at first when ColourPop was doing like the Roy G. Biv style 9 pans, it was kind of like, okay, you could collect them all and like you could have the whole rainbow and that could be your rainbow palette selection and like that's fun. But now that they're getting into these kind of undertones, I feel like now because they're getting into more niche colors, you don't necessarily need like the shades of mauve, the shades of lilac, the shades of like purple, like they're probably gonna do a royal purple one soon. You don't need all of those undertones necessarily, so I think you can pick and choose. I think to collect all of these 9 pans at this point is just a lot. And I have a few of them, but like I can't imagine having every single one they've put out, so I think it's kind of about picking and choosing what's your vibe. So if this is your vibe, I mean, it's good for spring, it's cute, the blushes are cute, but I don't think anybody needs this one, you know what I mean? Unless you have like, no, I wouldn't even say if you have no purple, because I would suggest the, It's My Pleasure. ColourPop has another true purple one that I would recommend if you want purples. You know what I mean? This is more for very specific like mauve looks. Okay, NARS keeps putting out a different version of the NARS Orgasm, and I'm gonna lose my mind. I don't understand how I feel like every summer they come out with a new way to promote the NARS Orgasm color, which in my opinion, I haven't heard people talk about that blush in forever, like the actual blush shade, but I feel like they keep coming out with collections surrounding it because it's been so popular for them, and I wish they would do something new. They're also coming out with matte bronzers. They look interesting, the bronzers. One of them is very, very, very light, which I think is kind of interesting because I think there is a market for that, for bronzers that are really neutral and light colored. One of them does look a little bit more orangey, dare I say, because it does look a little orangey. But these look fine. I have NARS Laguna, and for a really long time it was like my favorite bronzer. Actually ended up hitting pan on it. I don't think I would run out and buy a new bronzer like this. It kind of looks like they've changed up the packaging to be like a cardboard type of packaging. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like the packaging is going to be very different than how their normal bronzers are. The thing about NARS that I feel is that I just feel like they're a little overpriced. Like I just feel like they charge so much money for stuff that's honestly kind of mediocre. Like I'm sure these would be nice. I'm sure the formulas are okay, but I don't feel like their stuff is worth the price that they're charging it for. I feel like if they went down to more like mid-level pricing, like if this bronzer was gonna be 30 bucks, I would probably be like, yeah, that's like kind of a cool idea to test it out and try or whatever. But because I know this is gonna be like $45, I'm like, maybe just don't, you know what I mean? And stop buying Orgasm. We gotta send a message that they need to stop with the Orgasm collections because it's getting ridiculous. I'm probably gonna have to censor that because I'm gonna get demonetized, but okay, Menagerie Cosmetics is coming out with a Pastel Pup eyeshadow palette. I think this is cute, and I've heard very good things. I have friends that really, really love Menagerie Cosmetics. They used to be Makeup Monsters, and now they've switched to Menagerie. I don't love the way that the owner has gone about with certain things. There's been some stuff that have happened with Menagerie that I find to be a little bit just weird, not necessarily horrible, but just like, I don't feel like the owner is super, super professional, and that kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit. But I will say I think this palette is cute. I think it's interesting. I think it's really on trend because spring is coming, and I think pastels are kind of, everybody thinks pastels and spring. I don't think it's particularly groundbreaking of a palette. My whole thing about this is I'm just like, okay, like I'm not super, super excited about it, but I'm also not like, oh my God, boring, horrible. Like this is kind of just a meh thing for me. I don't know if I would necessarily be like, run out and buy it. I'm also just not a big fan of pastels in general because I find that they have to be very pigmented for them to actually be good, or a lot of times they end up making me particularly look really washed out or look like I didn't put enough pigment onto my eyes. And I feel like that can be a really hard formula to pull off. So I'll be interested to see how this performs and how people review it. I'm sure somebody I know will pick it up and then I can see, but I don't think this is one that I would absolutely need in my collection. I think you just have to assess, but I do think it's different enough that it's one that other people could be like, yeah, I could use that in my collection to like spice things up. You know what I mean? Artist Couture came out with a Supreme Nudes collection. I've never tried anything really from Artist Couture. I had one of their glow, like their highlighter, loose highlighter things a while ago that I got in BoxyCharm, but it was a weird color, so I just never ended up using it. However, the swatches on this look stunning. Is this a little bit kind of a more boring palette? Yes, but I do think there is a market for that, obviously, because brands keep making it and people keep buying it because people need neutrals. Everybody does. While I think this looks a little boring, this also looks stunning. I think the sparkly shades on this are like blowing my mind in the swatches. I kind of want to wait until obviously quarantine's over and I can go in store and swatch it myself. I do appreciate that they threw in that kind of army green shade that's in the bottom. I think that, and kind of these mustardy tones, because it sets it apart from being like a neutral brown palette to still being very neutral and nudie, but also nudie, also having kind of more interesting colors thrown in there. It's not just browns, because I feel like when you hear neutral, you think browns or even some oranges sometimes, but there's not really too many orangey colors in here. It's more like greens and taupes and kind of these like really mustardy yellow colors that I think think are kind of cool. So I actually think this is dope. It says it's $40, which is a pretty, you know, not horribly priced, but I don't think that's like a competitive pricing. But I do think this is really pretty, and the swatches look really nice. I'm not really crazy about the lipsticks. I just don't need any more nude lipsticks in my life. That's like a personal thing. But I think this palette in general, it looks really pretty. So Melt Cosmetics came out with the Rust palette. Not the biggest fan. I'm not a big fan of Melt though. I don't like their eyeshadow palette formula. The ones I've tried, I don't really like. I believe this is based on their Rust stack, which I actually have. And I appreciate that they're moving away from the stack packaging, because that packaging honestly sucks. It's not great. It's like flies apart in the drawer and shadows chip, and it's really annoying to store. So I am glad they're doing that, but I'm not obsessed with this color story. I like it more when Melt puts like a ton of thought into their collections. I wish they like released less and every single collection was like the Gemini palette, or what was the one they just came out with that was like the red and blue. I'll put a picture of it here. I wish all of their palettes had the thought that those collections did, because I think when Melt puts a lot of thought and like time and energy into the concept and their palettes, they end up looking so, so beautiful. So even though I'm not crazy about the formula, I can objectively be like, no, this is beautiful. Whereas this just kind of feels, I think Too Faced did come out with something really similar to this actually, color story wise, where this is just not super, super interesting and kind of random with like the bright yellow for some reason. I don't feel like that bright yellow needed to be in there. I feel like they could have done something more muted and made it, if they were gonna do a neutral, like just do a neutral, you know what I mean? Because it's not like the Artist Couture palette we just saw where it was like a bunch of different colors were a little bit different. This is kind of all browns with like a pop of yellow, which I feel like they probably did because of a springtime release, but like, not crazy about that. Beauty Blender is coming out with a green beauty blender, so I don't care. I can't stand.
I'm not sure.
I didn't say anything to you.
Stop listening to me.
Morphe is coming out with a 24A Artistry palette. Actually, those textured shadows look kind of interesting. I'm happy they're doing a smaller palette. I find that the palettes, I'm not really buying from Morphe right now, but I find that the palettes that I do find interesting from them tend to be their smaller ones. I'm really over the 35 or 39 shadows because I just think they're too big and it's way too repetitive. Whereas when they do edit their palettes down to be a bit smaller, I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Like looking at this before I saw the actual text, I would not have guessed that this was going to be a Morphe palette. I would have thought it would have been probably like BH or something like that. Like the color story is cute, it's concise. I feel like there's fun colors in here, something a little different, and those textured shadows look really cool. I can't tell if those are just pressed glitters, which I hate pressed glitters. So if they were pressed glitters, I probably would not be a fan. But if they were like textured shadows or really foam, like chrome metallic type shadows, I think that could actually be really cool. The thing about Morphe, a lot of people ask like quality wise what I think about them, and I think they're very good for beginners. One of my first real palettes was a Morphe palette when I was first starting out in makeup, and I think they're good for beginners because the formula is easy to blend and not the most pigmented. So, but I feel like when you're first starting out, you don't want a ton of pigment. You don't want something like that. You want something that you can build up and work with, because if you start out with like an ABH palette, it's gonna be kind of hard to work with. You're gonna struggle. So I think if you wanted something colorful that's cheap and you wanted something that's gonna like blend easy, you could go with this. I also feel like there's other brands you could buy from. I personally think are a little bit more ethical, but I know Morphe is easy to get a hold of because they sell it in Ulta. And I know a lot of people like the price point. So I think if you wanted something that's gonna be good for you as a beginner, I think these are great palettes. Oh, Samantha. So Samantha March came out with a collection with Ofra. I love Samantha March. You should absolutely go check out her channel. She's so, so sweet. She's actually low-key the reason I do these videos. She came up with the series of like, Will I Buy It? And I don't know if that was entirely 100% her, but I feel like she was the first person to start doing these like, Will I Buy It type videos that were kind of a play on anti-hauls. And she is so, so sweet and also really funny. Her TikToks make me laugh hysterically. But she has a collection with Ofra out and I'm very excited about this. I think I'll probably buy that like light pinky blush with the highlighter, like that little duo in there. Typically, I don't love blushes and highlighters that touch like that, but I've seen some demos with this and it seems like that blush is more of a glowy blush. So I don't think I would mind if the highlighter got a little mixed in, whereas like if it's a matte blush with like a super pigmented highlighter, I don't think I would like it. But I really like Ofra's highlighter formula. I think it's one of the best in the game. Rodeo Drive is like my absolute favorite highlighter. And I love this more pinky, like champagne-y color. I think it's really, really really, really pretty. And I'm really excited about this in general. I'm really proud of Samantha. That's so awesome. Ofra is such a huge brand. So to see her get such an amazing opportunity has been really, really cool. So congratulations. Go check this out if you're interested. Is this a Charmed palette? Oh, this is from an indie brand. It's a Charmed palette. I've never watched Charmed. Am I allowed to give an opinion on this? I never watched that show. The only thing I'll say is it looks like it'd be horrible to store. I hate when palettes have this weird shape now. It used to be when I was like first getting into makeup, I was like, oh, this is so cute. It's so different. It's like something fun. But now it's just a pain to store. And I don't like palettes that aren't normally shaped really anymore. Like I need a palette that has a normal shape because this just looks like a pain, honestly. I also think it's a little creepy, and maybe it's because I haven't watched the show, but I do think it's a little creepy that you pull it up and it's just all of the cast members staring at you. Like, am I the only one that thinks that's kind of weird, that there's just people staring at you every time you open an eyeshadow palette? I don't know if I've ever seen an eyeshadow palette like that where you open it up and it's people staring at you. Like every time. I don't know. That's just me. Tom Ford has these cute little palettes out. I think they're cute, but I can attest from the things from Tom Ford I've tried, it's not worth the money. That's all I have to say about that. It was really quick and easy. Ooh, what is this? Is this Makeup Revolution? Oh, these are cute. Makeup Revolution's coming out with these little quads that look like really pretty, like shimmery shades. Oh, this is kind of cute. Okay, I can get down with this. I'm feeling a little sus about Makeup Revolution at the moment because of what happened with the Manny MUA stuff. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and I agreed. I'll link down below Manny's video like explaining that situation because I don't need to get into detail with it. But I will say it left kind of a weird taste in my mouth for the brand. Wasn't a huge fan of how they handled everything, so I'm just not really sure how I'm feeling about them in general, but I will say the packaging on this looks so cute. I'm obsessed with how they did the different colored packaging. I think the texture that they put into their packaging is really cool, and I think these shades actually look really cute. They're really concise. The price is a little high for Makeup Revolution. I think I would have liked to see these sit at like the $10 to $12 range instead of $15, just because $15 for 4 shadows is kind of a lot. I almost wish they had done less on the packaging and then had them be a little bit cheaper, because I think the idea for this is kind of cute. They're very monochromatic quads, but I'm not like obsessed. I probably wouldn't buy this. Cute though. Too Faced came out with a face powder that's their primed and poreless face powder. They also have a primer that goes along with this, but okay, like this is fine, I guess. I'm again not supporting Too Faced, but I will give an opinion on just pressed powders in general. I have learned over the years that there are certain things in makeup where it's like, yeah, invest your money, like get something that's gonna be really good for you, you know what I mean? And I've learned that there's things that you can definitely skimp out on, and I would say face powder is, for me, 100% the thing that I can skimp out on. Not even loose powder. Loose powder I need to be a little finicky, but a pressed face powder, there are so many amazing ones from the drugstore. The Maybelline Fit Me one is amazing. The Rimmel Stay Matte is amazing. There's a Makeup Revolution one that I've really been enjoying. The JCat Aqua Insurance powder thingy. All of those are like under $10 and they're so good. I don't know about everyone else, I go through pressed powders really, really quickly, and I just feel like you should not spend $40 on something you're gonna go through that quickly. At least with loose powders, I feel like it does take a little bit longer to get through one. Whereas with this, you're gonna get through this super, super, super fast, and then you're gonna just be out like $35. And then if you like it, which is what happened to me with the Fenty Invisimatte, I really, really liked that powder. I never wanted to spend $30 to rebuy it every like 2 months because I was going through it so fast. So I feel like as far as not even just with this Too Faced powder, but pressed powders in general, I just don't think you need to spend, and I could be wrong, if you have skin that's like really difficult, like by all means spend all your money on pressed powder, I don't care. But for me personally, I find that I have found some amazingly affordable pressed powders that are just so, so good, and you don't need to spend your money on ones like this, especially from a brand like Too Faced. So that's gonna be it from me, you guys. That was my Yass or pass. Let me know down below what you guys are yassing or passing. Just a quick update for my collab with Midas. A lot of you guys have been asking about a restock, which I totally get, because finally everybody like has their stuff, which has been amazing to see. If you got my palette in my collection with Midas, please post a picture of it on social media and tag me in it, because I would love to see it. I've been loving seeing the looks in the YouTube videos and everything. everything. One thing I will say is we're hoping to have a restock before April 20th. So I'll keep you guys posted on that, but that is kind of the tentative date that we have been given for when we'll be able to do a restock, and I'll let you guys know. The best way to get updates on that collection is to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, or follow Midas Cosmetics on Twitter or Instagram. We're kind of always posting like updates and stuff. But thank you to everyone who supported it and made it such a huge success. We're really excited that we got to restock this soon. And yeah, I love you guys. Anyway, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, my social media, and everything I'm wearing on my face will be linked down below, along with a link to register to vote. That's right, you can click on that link, you can register to vote, and you can be part of your democracy. Super fun. Please do it. And if you're not from the United States and that link does not apply to you, please make sure you're staying informed on what's going on locally, federally. Just use your voice in a positive way if you can, because the world absolutely needs more of that. And please stay 6 feet apart, wash your hands, and social distance if you can, because it is imperative that we work together to get through this really tough time. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!